Well, this is how I spent Saturday. The friction slides for the throw hammer that compresses the hay was seizing up, so we had to remove it, and we pulled it out with a four-wheeler winch. And these pieces are what we have to change. You can tell by the color of it, all friction turned it blue. And if you look in here, there's a friction slide right there. There's another one that just fell here. It's had some shims on top of it. They've got to be changed because it was getting wedged up and burning the clutch. It's a Massey Ferguson number 10. I do believe it's from 62. The rest of it worked fine. I don't know if you can see properly. This surface right here had a metal slider on it. This is a metal slider. As you can see, rust has built up behind it, causing that piece to swell and actually squeezing on the hammer or the plunger that actually plunges the hay into the bale. This is a piece that we had bent to actually replace the existing one. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sliders, and the plunger has 2 sliders, 4 sliders on each face, so that's 8. Right there, over there, that's the hammer or the knife that cuts the hay up, and we had to scrape these to bring them to bare metal, and then we're going to put on these new sliders. Hopefully that'll fix the problem. As you can see right here, there's a whole lot of swelling. That's probably where the thing was binding up. That's a lot of rust. It should be dismantled, but I'm not sure it's gonna come apart. Is the thing. There's a little bit of rust there. A little bit of rust there. I don't know if I patch that up or not. The knotter still works. But yeah, this is a picture of what it looks like. This turns around like this, pushing the plunger in and out. And as soon as the bale is done, the knotter is triggered, and 2 forks come up through these holes over here with the bale, the twine, and they get knotted up here. I don't know, the more I look at this, the more I think we should do something about this piece here. I don't think it's gonna work if we don't. Fun day on the horse farm. Woohoo. See? And as you can see, we're replacing the bushings, and those are the old the old sliders, or the old slides, or I'm not sure quite what to call them, but we bent a new one here. We got to poke some holes in it to match the other bolt pattern, and this is the other portion of the knife, and you can see the wear here, huh? That's where the plunger was rubbing up against that bar. That's why I'm thinking we better do something about it. This piece is to prevent the hay from getting into the plunger, but it seems to be rotting on us. But a little coat of paint, it should survive a while longer. I'm going to replace the runners. The 4 bottom. And this side, I don't know why they told me they couldn't replace them, so we're going to leave it as is. This side of it, the runners are adjustable, right? And this is the underside of the plunger. This triggers, I think it triggers or prevents this from smacking into the forks, the twine forks. This will have to get a new grind on it. This is what chops up the hay. Here's my trusty little mini mill. I can adjust the speed of the spindle here, and I have a high and a low range on it. I can feed the quill, and right now what I'm doing is I'm countersinking these to make sure that they're a little under flush, so there's room for wear without destroying the head of this bolt. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these to make. They're spaced out 3 inches apart from one another. Oops, the air's not plugged up. Anyways, I can show you a finished piece. Well, I just did on the plunger. So I'm going to finish these up, and we'll give you some more footage. The treads were, I think they were, the bolts were heated up and then loosened off. I'm going to have to run a tap through it to make sure that these are actually, will accept a 5/16 National Course 18 treads per inch. It's called Chasing the Thread. I'm going to put you down for a second. I'm just going to set up my tap. It seems to be rusty because I can hear the grit. So this should help it along. Once again, I'm putting spacers or runners or bushings on the plunger for an old Massey Ferguson number 10 baler, square baler. Probably from 58, something like that. 58, early 60s. Yeah, there's a lot of grit on there. Now I've put a little, or I might as well chase all of them to make sure. it's not like I'm cutting new threads. I don't have to back off every half turn, quarter turn. I'm just cleaning them up. So, the setup goes, my vise is not wide enough. This is 8 inches wide, so I put blocks on either side, and I find the center. It's just an approximation. It doesn't have to be super fussy. The holes have to be 3 inches apart and countersunk to accept a countersinkable bolt with a hex head on it. And I'm going to set up my centering drill. I'm using the same thing that I would on my lathe. As you can see, it has a taper and a place for a lubricant. I also use it, since I'm not being too fussy, as an edge finder. So I want to be at the center of this. It's 2 inches wide. There's my edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It should bring me to the middle of my piece. Oh, I fell off the block here. Tighten this up again. And now, bring this to my tip. And I know I've got 4 inch to center. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Or I can just use my measuring scale here, which should bring me to center. Almost there. 0. So a little bit of cutting oil. And I'm running this at 3. Center. I'm going to chuck a drill 5/16. Oh, gonna get some air. You should always tighten up your chuck at more than one spot. not bit speed, if I'm not mistaken, it's 4 times the material divided by the diameter. Since it's 5/16ths and this is steel, I'd go 100 times 4 is 400 divided by the diameter, which is close to 800 RPM. But I don't want to burn out my drill bit. There's my hole. Now I'm going to check up the powder sink. It's titanium coated. Works really well. It's only got one flute. I'm going to run this at 100 RPM. It's going to struggle a bit because it's only 1/3 horsepower, but I saw it slip. Well, better tighten it up before I make a mess. to get one of the runners in. As you can see, the new bolts here. And over there. And if you look on the inside, this here is the new piece. It can move in and out, so I can adjust the pressure on the plunger. And this is the plunger here. I have to make sure I trigger this before I pull the plunger in. Let's see, some big parts in there. I hope this is all not for nothing. That's the old piece. As you can see, the wear. Right. And these are square holes, but when I drag in the bolt by tightening it down, it should rivet its way through there, or act like a brooch to make it square. This is the new piece. They didn't have the right size of material. Like, this is possibly thinner. I hope it still works. What happened was rust was building up behind the shims, causing it to squeeze and pinch. So I'm going to transfer these over here and do the same thing as the other one. Wow, this has turned out into quite the ordeal. These are the runners, or the track in which the plunger actually travels on. And this piece was just put in. I don't know if I'm picking up a glare. This piece was just put in, and unfortunately this piece right here, you see that rust? That's bowing like 1/8 of an inch almost, and there too. And it's very important that that piece be straight, because it's what's going to guide the plunger and the scissors to meet up at the right time in the right place, which the scissor is right there, to meet up at the right place. And it's got to be within probably a 64th or 30 seconds maybe, or 1/16 of an inch, for it to cut hay and not chew hay. These bolts, I've replaced these. There's 6 of them, and unfortunately this one broke, so we've got to remove the wheels and drill it out and put a new one in there. But these are actually the adjustment that push on the side here, and that hole is bolted to here. So you have an angle iron going like this, and this bolt will apply pressure to that angle iron that way to keep it close to the other side on those runners for it to cut hay. And as you can see, there's the drill, taps, and I had to do that one as well. That bottom one, it broke. I'm putting anti-seize on them to make sure that they can be removed again. And now for the tire. I hope that tire comes off. I really do. Well, I finished putting the runners in.